Well, how are you doing? This is a video titled, as you can see in orange, as The Origins and End of the Globe Earth Model, Non-Parallel Sunrays. I got this, it's kind of an add-on to the last video I made, where I am showing where the actual radius calculation for the globe Earth came from. But I was watching one of Rachie and 50's videos today, and it was on parallel sunrays, and it reminded me that that is actually a good progression as a second video onto the back of the last one I made. So I will share Rachie's video and channel in the description, and I will also be sharing a video from Veritasium. Okay, let's get this started. Hopefully it won't be too long. The origins and end of the globe Earth model, non-parallel sunrays. Contrary to popular belief, the one-way speed of light was never actually measured. Nobody in the history of the world has ever measured the one-way speed of light, and possibly nobody ever will. Why this is important in a video about non-parallel sunrays is because it is officially claimed that sunrays are parallel, and the reason that they claim this is due to a belief that the sun is a very big and very far away, a claimed distance of 93 million statute miles, or 1 astronomical unit, as the AU is defined as the exact distance between the globe Earth and heliocentric sun. The sun is claimed to be 8.03 light minutes away from us, and they determined this via a claimed two-way speed of light measurement. But there was never a two-way speed of light measurement made, as logically there can't be if there is no one-way speed of light measurement. Then how could there be a two-way speed of light measurement? So what actually is the two-way speed of light claim all about? Well, for a start, it's not a measurement, but only a calculation that is solely based on a belief, when in actuality it is based on 4 pre-assumptions and 2 averages. To explain, I'm going to read down through these first, and then I will go back over them. The following are those pre-assumptions and averages. The pre-assumptions: 1. That the Earth is a globe with an average radius of 3,959 miles. 2. That the Sun is also a sphere of a particular size and at a particular distance. 3. That the Earth as a globe is orbiting around the Sun. 4. That Kepler's analemma is correct and true without question. The averages: 1. The average radius of a globe Earth. 2. The average distance of a globe Earth from the Sun over a 12-month period. Okay, just quickly I'll go through them with some bit more explanation. 1. Of the pre-assumptions: 1. That the Earth is a globe with an average radius of 3,959 miles. The average radius of a globe Earth is used within the two-way speed of light calculation, not a polar radius or an equatorial radius, the average radius of a globe Earth. 2. That the Sun is also a sphere of a particular size and at a particular distance. That's the second pre-assumption. That the Sun is also a sphere or globe shape, and it is of a particular size and at a particular distance. Okay, so that is, they already pre-assume the distance that they're basing the speed of light on, the two-way speed of light calculation on, but the two-way speed of light calculations is also supporting the distance. It's circular nonsense, right? It's just pre-assumption. So they have to pre-assume, like basically use a radius for their heliocentric sun that's of a particular size and at a particular distance, which is 93 million miles away, or 1 AU. 1 AU is 93 million miles away, kind of thing, and 93 million miles away is 1 AU. So one supports the other, but none of them are backed by anything, right? So, next, 3, the third pre-assumption, that the Earth as a globe is orbiting around the Sun. So that's the third pre-assumption, that the Sun is stationary and the Earth is moving. Third pre-assumption. Fourth pre-assumption, that Kepler's analemma is correct and true without question. This is the fourth and the most important of all the pre-assumptions, is that Kepler's analemma is correct and true without question, which means that without questioning it, that the globe Earth is orbiting around the Sun in an offset elliptical orbit, and it's 3 million miles closer to the Sun in the southern summer and 3 million miles further from the Sun in the northern summer. And so this is just all a pre-assumption based on Kepler. But Kepler was an astrologer, and Kepler knew the origin of the sun cycle, Tycho Brahe would have used the original sun cycle because he was a geocentrist, as far as I know, and Kepler was an assistant to him. So the thing about it is that Kepler basically just all he did was amalgamate the original sun cycle with the Copernican model of the solar system model, and he just back engineered it into the Copernican model. That's what Kepler did, and that's why there's a 23.4 degree tilt to the globe Earth, and why the globe Earth is closer and further at different times of the year to the heliocentric sun. There's all pre-assumption based on absolutely nothing. People think it's based on observations. The only thing Kepler could observe, right? The only thing he could see, right, is the sun. And while he's watching it, it's moving. So he'd have to keep moving. So it's a case of, oh, I must be moving then. But that's not the logical answer, is it? The logical answer is, I don't feel any movement. There's no way to tell that there's any movement. I see the sun moving. So it's the sun that's moving. So Kepler was just a con man. The averages, the average radius of a globe, right? So they have to use the average radius of a globe, the 3959, not the 3960 or the 3963 or the 3950. You know, they have to use the 3959, the average. So it's an average. And second, the average distance of a globe Earth from the sun over a 12-month period. That brings us back to Kepler's analemma, because the globe Earth is at a different distance from the sun every day. You know, every hour, you know, it's changing its distance from the sun constantly. So within that model, so there is never a consistent distance from the globe Earth is never a consistent distance from the heliocentric sun. It's always changing its rate of motion around the sun, changing its distance from the sun, and changing its position in accordance to the sun. Blah blah blah. So it's all pre-assumption. So 4 pre-assumptions and 2 averages. That's what the two-way speed of light is based on. So, you know, based on nothing. So the two-way speed of light is just based on belief, just an agreed upon convention for ease of heliocentric calculation, nothing to be taken seriously or used within a debate as a factual measurement. So if the heliocentric sun is claimed to be 8.03 light minutes away from Earth, and this claim is based on a two-way speed of light calculation, and this two-way speed of light calculation is based on nothing, then any claims involving a distance and slash or size to the sun in our sky that are based on this calculation in any way can rightfully be thrown out as folly. So why is this so important to claim that the sun's rays are parallel? Because the only reason that the claim that the sun's rays are parallel even exists is because of this massive distance that the heliocentric sun is claimed to be from us, and because of the then huge diameter that the sun has to have if it is that actual distance away. But as we can clearly see with logical and sane minds, the whole claim is based on nothing, and the sun's rays being parallel is only a claim that must be made by those who wish to live within a fantasy created by a two-way speed of light calculation, that in reality is clearly a load of rubbish. So there is nothing to base this claim that the sun rays are parallel on, other than the belief that the sun is a particular size and a particular distance. And this is all based around the two-way speed of light calculation that is based on absolutely nothing, 4 pre-assumptions that are based in heliocentrism, and 2 averages that are also based in heliocentrism. So the whole thing is a joke. It is clearly a load of rubbish. Now, reality. So here are some images of the sun rays, okay? As you can see, I'll make it bigger. As you can see, they are not parallel, but divergent all the time. So here we have all these rays being divergent, never parallel. We never see parallel sun rays, and you know why? Because they don't exist. Because like all light, the sun's light, and any light from any celestial object, it has to adhere to the inverse square law of light. There's no way around that. Light always diverges from the source. Regardless of where it's coming from, what the shape is, it diverges from the source. It never, even lasers start to diverge, and they're the most concentrated. They're the most concentrated light we have. There's no more concentrated light than lasers that I'm aware of. There's no more concentrated light than that. Lasers are like a super microwave signal. That's where they came from, microwave signals. The original name for a laser is a maser. The M stood for microwave. See, diverging, always diverging, never converging. That's reality. You know why? Because in reality, the two-way speed of light calculation has no basis. That's why. You know, so there's no need to claim that the sun must have parallel rays. There's no need for that. You know, it's not important. We don't experience curvature. We don't experience drop. We don't experience parallel sun rays. We don't experience all that. What we experience is flat with topography, and we experience diverging sun rays. That's reality. For those who are sane and wish to avoid mental illness, then this is a reality. You know, you just have to accept it. There's more sun rays not being parallel, diverging all the time, always diverging. There's more of it, not diverging. Not parallel, always diverging. Not parallel, always diverging. You know, how much more evidence do you need besides every photograph of sun rays ever, every video of sun rays ever, and every time you actually saw the sun? I mean, how much more evidence would be needed for you to understand this? It's probably the most simple of all things to prove. There it is. Not parallel, always diverging. Not parallel, always diverging. Look at that. Never parallel. Why would they be? Why would they be parallel? If they were parallel, then, and we were on a globe Earth, then there would be a winter, a summer, and a kind of a spring-autumn thing twice a year. That's what would happen if they were parallel. If anyone cares to look at the globe model and what parallel rays would mean, that's what they would mean. We'd have a winter in June and July. We'd have a summer in December, January. And we'd have the same thing, kind of I don't know if you call it a spring or an autumn in September, October, and in March, April. It's nonsense. We don't have that. We have 4 seasons, in big parts of the world. Maybe not over the equator, but most of the world has the 4 seasons. Here, look, all diverging. Look, no parallel anywhere. No parallel. It doesn't exist. It's fantasy based on a calculation that's based on 4 pre-assumptions and 2 averages. It's not real. It's not real. Okay, 1 second now. This one. Right? Now what I did is I duplicated it, and I messed around with the levels a bit, right? To try and enhance it a bit, right? So there you go. There is the sun coming through the clouds. It's focused on one part. It's not everywhere. It's focused on one part. Wherever the main source of light is, that's where the focus is. It's not over here. The focus is not over here. It's not over here and everywhere else, which would have to be with parallel rays. It's only focused in one area. And this is the area.